Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we like to talk about astrology, numerology, and everything written in the stars for you. If you are watching this video on February 23rd, Mars has finally turned direct in the sign of Cancer. It has been retrograde since December 6th, making it almost 4 months in the retrograde cycle. It started off in Leo, and then it finally made its way into Cancer on January 6th. Once Mars hit Cancer, so many things happened in the United States that brought a huge emotional upheaval across the country and even throughout the globe. We had the potential TikTok ban. We had immigration things going on in the US. We had the LA wildfires. We had planes crashing down. Now, why did all of these things happen when Mars was retrograde through the sign of Cancer? First of all, Cancer is known for our domestic life, our home life. This is known for where we live. This is our emotional upbringings. This is how we feel on the inside. It is the things that nurture us. It is the things that make us feel happiest. It really affected so many people's home lives, especially with things like immigration or planes crashing down, or the fact that homes actually burned to the ground in LA. This brought so much emotional upheaval, with Mars being this planet of aggression and war and drive, and that going through its debilitated sign of Cancer brought this emotional upheaval with our home life, where we live, the things that bring us joy, the things that nurture us. Now, finally, when it turned direct today, we are finally going to be in the clear with most of the bad stuff behind us, and now we are facing forward towards the more positive side of Mars in Cancer. So Mars is actually going to stay going direct through Cancer until April 18th, 2025, when it re-enters the sign of Leo. We might potentially still see a lot of things with an emotional undertone happening in our news media, or even things like planes crashing down continue to happen until Mars leaves the sign of Cancer. There is still the possibility that things will continue to happen, because you have to remember that Pluto has just really re-entered Aquarius. So that has something to do with it as well. But I really want to connect the fact that as soon as Mars entered Cancer, that's when we saw all of these things happen with the LA wildfires, for example. The exact day on the 6th of January that everything started to happen in LA, that is the day that Mars entered Cancer. So I think that once we hit about April, when Mars enters Leo, most of this is going to clear up. But until then, we're kind of in the clear with everything happening with Mars and Cancer. All of the rough patches that we experience is going to mainly be concentrated when Mars was retrograde, aka going backwards through the sign of Cancer. And once it goes forward through the sign of Cancer, everything that happened, all of the shock value, everything that happened very, very quickly, it's now going to start to lighten up a little bit. It's not going to be as intense. I do predict that when Mars is still in the sign of Cancer, because Mars doesn't particularly do well in the sign of Cancer, because Mars is all about aggression, war, fighting, strategy. And when it goes through a very nurturing sign like Cancer, that's very the homebody, it's all about home life, domestic home life, and things like that. When it goes through the sign, it's going to continue to go through a lot of Cancer themes with the emotional upheaval that goes along with Mars going through Cancer. We're still kind of going to have this theme until Mars enters Leo, which it will do a little bit better in. It's not going to be as intense as it will be with Cancer, and we're probably not going to see as much emotional upheaval that we experienced when Mars was going through Cancer. Leo energy is very different to Cancer energy. If anything, we might actually see more performers come out of the woodwork. We might see a surge in people in the media. We might see more celebrities start to talk. There might be more performances. There could be more concerts, more TV shows, more movies to go out and see. Things like that are more likely to happen when Mars goes through the sign of Leo. People are probably going to be fighting more for their artwork, things like that, because Leo is a very creative sign, being ruled by the sun. That's very theater, performance, and everything like that. So the signs most affected by Mars finally turning direct are one, Cancer. Cancers are going to feel this the most. They've definitely felt the Mars retrograde the most. And now that it's turned direct, their lives are going to feel just a little bit better. It's not going to be as intense anymore. Things are going to start to turn around for them. If they learned any lessons when Mars was going retrograde through the sign of Cancer, they're going to feel like it is just a little bit lighter, a little bit better. It's not as intense. Also, for both Aries and Libra placements, this is also going to feel a lot better for you guys because Mars has been squared your energy. It has been going retrograde backwards through the sign of Cancer and squared your energy. So I can only imagine how chaotic it could have been for you since January 6th. Many things could have happened to you that have caused a big emotional upheaval. But now on the 23rd, things are going to start to turn around a little bit more. Things won't be as intense. That energy is still going to be squared your energy, but it won't be as intense as it was for the past month and a half. And once you hit April 18th, when Mars goes into Leo, things will be a lot better and a lot smoother. And Capricorns, that energy has been opposing your sign. I always think that opposing energy is not terrible, as Capricorn does well with Cancer energy. But after the 23rd, things are going to turn around and you're going to feel a lot happier. Everything's not going to be as intense as it was, and things are going to start to turn around and push you in the direction that you should be on now. So I do want to go through all of the rising signs to kind of give you guys a rundown of how it's going to affect you. Be sure to check your rising sign and your sun and moon sign to get a full picture of how the next 2 months are going to be for you. So starting with Aries rising, Aries, Mars retrograde has been going through your 4th house of your home life. This is where you live. This is your emotions. This is your mental health. This is also your relationships with women. During this time, you could have had a very intense experience over the past month and a half since January 6th. And now you could have had this emotional experience with your home life. Maybe something happened to your home, or maybe you had a struggle with your mental health during this time as well. All could have been possible as Mars was going retrograde through the sign of Cancer. Now that it has gone direct, you will feel that things are going to lighten up a little bit, and you're going to now take all of the lessons that you've learned or learn from all of the experiences that have just happened to you over the past month and a half, and now push forward with them into the future where you can take all that information and now move on to the next chapter of your life. Taurus rising, Mars has been going retrograde through your 3rd house of thinking, the mind, communication. This is also where we find social media and short-term travel. Over the past month and a half, you could have experienced a lot of things as it pertains to social media, or just very intense experiences that could have happened on social media. Or maybe you've just been involved in more conversations around things that have been happening in the media, or certain things that have happened in our media, as there have been a lot of very intense events that have happened since January 6th. You could have felt that your mind has been working overtime. You could have been writing a lot or talking a lot on social media or doing something like that. Now that Mars is going direct through your 3rd house, you are going to start to find that all of the intensity is now going to let up, as things are going to be a little bit more smooth sailing. They're not going to be as intense as they were since January 6th, now that Mars is officially direct in the sign of Cancer. Gemini risings. Gemini, since January 6th, you have felt a large, intense energy as it pertains to your personal earning power or your finances. You could have been working overtime to make more money, or working on side hustles. Maybe you took up more hours at work, or you could have even potentially lost your job or something like that. That could have brought a huge change in your earning power and your finances. And you could have hustled a lot from the start of January 6th all the way through the 23rd. But just know, now that Mars is direct in Cancer, things are going to chill out a little bit, and things are going to be a little bit more smooth sailing from here on out. You're not going to be struggling so much. And everything that you have learned since January 6th, things are going to be just a little bit better as it pertains to your own earning power and finances. Cancer rising, you have experienced a lot of intensity as it pertains to who you view yourself as and your own personal identity. This could also pertain to your own appearance. Maybe something happened with your appearance over the past month and a half. To be like, maybe it's time I really need to get more into fitness. Maybe it's time that I take more care of my appearance and my health. Maybe it's time that I change my hair color. You could have been working a lot harder towards your appearance. You could have been working on your fitness. You could have been working to better your body or change your hair color. You could have also been watching like a lot of YouTube videos about how to get better in shape or something like that, where it would change your appearance in some way for the better. But now that Mars has turned direct in the sign of Cancer, you're going to feel that things are going to start progressing forward. Maybe you finally hit a milestone with your appearance. Maybe you are able to lift more weights at the gym now or run farther distances on the treadmill or something like that. Whatever journey you are on with your appearance is now going to be a lot easier and smoother as you have been working really, really hard over the past month and a half. Leo risings, Mars has been retrograde through your 12th house of suffering, isolation, all things of the unseen. You most likely have had a month and a half that has been extremely intense for you and could have been one of the most intense months of your life. Things could have happened to you. Perhaps you lived in LA and something happened to your home or something like that, where you went through some very intense stuff, like very intense stuff, and you could have suffered from that. Maybe you have been alone and isolated and turning to spirituality to kind of figure out how things are going to play out for you. But now just know, since February 23rd, things are going to turn around for you and they will not be as intense as they were. Things are going to get a little bit better. And you're not going to be alone anymore. You're not going to be suffering as much anymore either. It's going to be much better now that Mars is direct. And once we hit April 18th, Mars is going to be transiting your first house of Leo. So things are going to chill out after then. Virgo risings. Mars has been transiting your 11th house of networks, your group affiliations, your friends, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and anything as it pertains to large groups of people. You could have been working really, really hard on your social networks, for example. You could have been trying to grow your following on social media. You could have been working really hard towards something like that will help you in the long run. Maybe you're hustling on social media. Maybe you're going out to networking events if you're like a doctor or a lawyer and meeting other doctors and lawyers. Maybe you're doing this like every single week or even twice a week to try to grow your network of people to help you find more work and find more jobs. Maybe you're out there on the job hunt and trying to find more people and networking with people in order to get a new job. But now just know that on February 23rd, Mars on direct, and all that hard work that you put in from January 6th through today, things are going to get so much better, and all that work you put in will now push towards the future, and things will chill out and everything will fall into place. Libra risings. Mars has been going retrograde through your 10th house of public image, career, reputation, fame, recognition. And since January 6th, you could have been focused on really elevating your public image. Maybe you're posting more on social media. Maybe you are making a lot of videos. Maybe you are working on growing your own public image and gaining a following. Maybe at work you got a promotion over this time, or you're working towards getting a promotion at work and really, really, really want to work on your public image. Maybe you're posting a lot on LinkedIn to grow yourself as a thought leader in your field. Maybe you're working on your public image in order to be more of an expert in your field and to get people to really trust you in whatever field you are in. You could have been working on this so much from January 6th through today, but now that Mars is officially turned direct, things are going to be a lot smoother now that Mars is going to be going direct through your 10th house. All that hard work that you've put in since January 6th is officially going to start paying off, and things are going to get better. And just know, come May, Jupiter is going to be entering your 10th house of public image, career, fame, and reputation. So all that work you put in at the beginning of 2025 is going to pay off in May, all the way through 2026. So this is just the beginning. Libra rising. Scorpio rising. Mars has been going retrograde through your 9th house of travel, higher education, learning, wisdom. So during this time, You could have been through some very intense experiences as it pertains to travel or even higher education. You could have been putting in the work to get a new degree or setting up all of the pieces in order to get your new degree. Maybe you need a certificate or a master's degree or a doctorate to elevate your career in order to set you up as an expert in your field and to get other people to trust you more. And from January 6th through February 23rd, maybe you have been working really hard to kind of figure out what degree you want to get, or for example, if you're already in school, maybe you're cramming for an exam or something like that. You've had a very intense experience around higher education. But just know things are going to get a little bit better for you now that Mars is officially direct through the sign of Cancer. Things are not going to be as intense, and all the work that you put in way back since January 6th, things are going to start to pay off. Sagittarius rising. You have had Mars retrograde through your 8th house of trauma, dark experiences, the occult. This is also where we find taxes, loans. This is other people's resources, other people's money. You could have gone through something very intense over the past month and a half. Things could have happened to you that have been just very traumatic and intense, but just know now that Mars is direct in Cancer, things will get a little bit better for you. They will not be as intense and things will chill out just a little bit more. You will still feel the effects of Mars going through your 8th house until about April 18th when Mars enters Leo and it goes into your 9th house. Capricorn risings. Capricorn, you've experienced Mars retrograde through your 7th house of Cancer. You could have had some very intense experiences as it pertains to your love life, the people who you're dating, maybe even your marriage partner or your spouse. Anything like that could have been just kind of very over the top intense. Maybe you had to go through something like marriage counseling, or maybe you had to go and like actually sit down and talk to your marriage partner or spouse about certain things. You could have experienced some like very intense stuff as it pertains to your one-on-one personal relationships. However, just know all of the hard work that you put in since January 6th is now going to start to pay off now that Mars is officially direct in Cancer. Aquarius risings. You have experienced Mars retrograde through your 6th house of personal health. This is also where we find self-improvement and how we better ourselves. When we are taking care of our body, when we are taking care of our health, when we are cleaning our house and cleaning our living space, this is our 6th house. You have experienced Mars going backwards through your 6th house. You could have had a very intense experience at work. Maybe something happened with your coworkers. You could have had a health scare or something like that. Maybe you got diagnosed with something. Maybe you broke a bone. Maybe you broke a toe. Maybe something happened with your personal health that was very intense since January 6th. But now that Mars has officially turned direct on February 23rd, things are going to lighten up a little bit. You still might experience some things that are intense as it pertains to your own personal health. However, just know things are going to start to turn around a little bit and they won't be as intense. And finally, Pisces risings. Pisces, you have experienced some very intense stuff as it pertains to going out and having fun in your dating life and the things that you're creating. Perhaps you worked really, really hard since January 6th in order to better your own creative skills, better your own artwork, better your own content creation, something that you're actually tangibly creating. And you worked really, really hard for a month and a half to try to get it up to where it needs to be. And now finally that Mars is going direct through your 5th house, things are going to turn around a little bit, and all of that stuff that you worked really, really hard on is now going to start to pay off and earn its keep. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more.